Welcome to A Moment with Teach Frey. I am Denisha Fraser, Master Teacher in Jamaica. This is my segment for educators. By popular demand, I go deeper into reading in the content area. It is my pleasure to share with you another way in which you can facilitate reading in the content area. Educators all, I love this little task of enriching you. After my last segment, I had a discussion with Principal Johnson of Mushat High School in Trelawney. He had tuned into that segment, and he's tuned in today. Hello, Sir Johnson. He expressed that each subject teacher really needs to be a teacher of reading. He, however, shared that some teachers just really need a reminder about some of the methods available to aid in this pursuit. Reading in the content area, by definition, speaks to the deliberate attempt by the teacher to have his or her learners read the educational materials directly written for a particular subject area. The aim of this is to help the students to garner the reading skills and abilities required to comprehend the complex informational text in their subject areas. It is further said that students who do more reading in their content area will become more familiar with the vocabulary of the subject and will find it easier to understand more complex and technical processes. Let's turn our attention to one such strategy for reading in the content area. Question-answer relationship, QAR. For this strategy, the learner explores 4 levels of questions and must therefore use explicit and implicit information in the text for their answers. First level questions, also called right there, are those where the answers can be found directly in the text presented to students and only requires searching to be located. For example, what were the names of all the characters in the story? Second level questions are called think and search. The answers are in the text but will require the learner to make an inference to come to the final correct answer. An example of a second level question would be, what tasks did John have to perform as a member of his family? Third level questions are also called you and the author and require the learner to use their background knowledge and mix such with information from the text to come up with an answer. For example, what would you say was the theme of the story? For such a question, the students would need to recall their knowledge of themes in order to answer this question. Fourth level questions are called on your own and require the learners to use their background knowledge only to answer them. For example, what do you think would happen if there was no rain for an entire year? If you are just joining us, we are in our segment, A Moment with Teach Frey, and I am sharing the QAR approach, which teachers can use to encourage reading in the content area. To this point, we have identified the 4 levels of questions in the QAR strategy, namely, right there, think and search, you and the author, and on your own. Let's dive deeper into how to use the QAR strategy with your children or learners. There are 7 steps to follow. 1. Teacher, you would develop a series of questions from the text which the students would know, as well as from reading materials for the next lesson. 2. Teachers would inform students about the strategy to be used, namely QAR, and also the 2 kinds of information found in the text presented to them, explicit and implicit information. 3. Teacher would then explain to the learners the 4 levels of questions and where the answers can be found, whether in the text, in the learner, or a combination of both. 4. Students then read the assigned selected text, answer the questions, and discuss their answers. 5. Teacher would then explain to students how they can use the QAR strategy on their own. 6. After using the strategy repeatedly, teacher would allow students to start making various levels of questions on their own from the text and have their classmates answer them. 7. Teachers, you would always close the day's activities with a discussion of how the strategy went as well as how the students felt about the lesson. QAR, like all other strategies for reading in the content area, is very effective if properly implemented. If you do not get it right the first time, don't be afraid to try it and try it again. Teachers, keep doing your best for the nation's children. The future is depending on you. Please try the QAR strategy in your next lesson. All the very best. And until next time, this is Teach Frey. Love and peace.